Hi everyone, we are from Group 7 and our presentation is on a comparison of leadership style between our Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin and US President Donald Trump. Our group members are Muhammad Rahimi, Muhammad Zulhaimi, Sharmila, Noor Amin, Muhammad Amiruddin, myself, Durga, Chua, Muhammad Sumardi and Noor Izaiti. Let's move on to the part A, Leader's Biography. Yang Amat Berhormat Tan Sri Datuk Dr. Haji Muhyiddin bin Haji Muhammad Yassin is Malaysian 8th Prime Minister. Prior to appointment, he was a Deputy Prime Minister and he also was a Deputy Chairman for Barisan Nasional as well as Deputy President for United Malays National Organisation. Tan Sri Muhyiddin is currently Member of Parliament for Pago. Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin's political career began since 1971 and he had been appointed as Menteri Besar Johor back then in 1986 until 1995. In 2009, he has been appointed as Deputy Prime Minister and prior to that, he had held several ministry posts. He had been dropped from cabinet in 2015 and in 2016 he joined and with Malaysian 4th Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir and established a new political party under Parti Peribumi Bersatu Malaysia or well known as Bersatu. Thereafter formed a coalition under Pakatan Harapan and won 2018 general election. He was appointed as Ministry of Home Affairs from 2018 to 2020. Thereafter, he had been appointed as Prime Minister by Yang di-Pertuan Agong due to the political crisis happened in Malaysia in early 2020. Subsequently, new coalition under Perikatan Nasional was formed for the setup of new government. President Donald Trump was born on June 14, 1946 in Queens, New York. He is the CEO of Trump Organization and the founder of Trump Entertainment. Trump Organization is an American-based real estate developer. He also is the executive producer and host for the hit television show The Apprentice. Trump Organization is based in New York City. President Donald Trump timeline. Donald Trump is born in New York City in 1946, graduated from university in 1968, and in 1971 he takes control of his father's real estate company. Thereafter, in 1983, Trump opens Trump Tower in Manhattan. 2004, debuts of The Apprentice television series. July 2016, the Republicans officially named Trump as their presidential nominee, and in November 2016, Trump is elected as President of US. Donald Trump is the CEO of Trump Organization, a real estate developer. The business headquarters is in Manhattan, New York, and they own many hotels, golf courses, and etc. Let's move on to the crisis overview. COVID-19 is a worldwide pandemic and it had been hit Malaysia since January 2020 and detected on a traveler from China arriving via Singapore on 25th January. The largest cluster was linked to a Tablighi Jamaat religious gathering held in Sri Petaling, Kuala Lumpur in late February and early March. Prime Minister announced on Movement Control Order effective 18 March 2020 on 17 March 20. On 18 March 2020, the Attorney General Chamber published a Federal Gazette restrict individuals from travelling to other states that have been declared as coronavirus affected areas. On 25th March, the MCO was extended by additional 2 weeks until 14 April as the new cases are consistently getting higher. On 28 April, the MCO was extended further to 12 May. Thereafter, Conditional Movement Control Order was implemented and it was announced that after 4th May, businesses can be opened gradually based on the essential services need. Malaysia has been recognized as one of the most successful countries in the world in handling and controlling the COVID-19 pandemic. The success was due to the hard work and cooperation from the government and the entire Malaysia. The government has never underestimated any issue concerning the well-being of the people, even though Malaysia had no experience of dealing with such pandemic for more than 16 years. Coronavirus outbreak in the US. First case was reported in Washington on January 2020. As to date, total confirmed case in US is 4.51 million with 63,000 new cases, recovered 2.21 million, and death toll 153,000. The Trump administration simulated a series of pandemic outbreaks from China in 2019 and found that the US government response are underprepared and uncoordinated. The US has finally, after about 6 weeks of half-hearted lockdown, flattened the curve. But US is still confirming about 30,000 to 60,000 cases per day, with the true number of cases likely far higher. The US is behind where it needs to be on testing and tracing capacity and lack of a clear strategy for isolating cases and protecting the most vulnerable. Let's move on to the leadership style. Muhyiddin's leadership style is more dominant democratic leadership style. He always utilized this leadership style in leading the country and the people. The best example is how the government of Malaysia tackling the pandemic issue of COVID-19. In the event of emergency, he had switched his leadership style from democratic to autocratic to ensure the lockdown implemented by the government are successful in controlling the spread of pandemic. Generally, he always discussed with his cabinet member and applied the democratic style in reaching a conclusion, such as implementing the moratorium and other assistance by listening and considering the situation of Malaysian citizens. Trump's leadership style. He is an autocratic leader, acquires 100% beliefs in project before choosing it, only takes advice from selected one, works well in a stressful situation. Employee may find relief in being told how to respond during these times, especially those are lack of skills. Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin's good leadership qualities. Tan Sri is a good communicator. His excellent communication skill can be seen during the series of COVID-19 press conference, where he uses simple words to make it easier for all Malaysians to understand. He also addressed the M40 and B40 by using Makcik Kia and Pakcik Saleh analogy. Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin always appeared to be positive and confident during COVID-19 updates announcement. Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin inspires others to respect and appreciate frontliners. Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin have a decision-making capabilities based on his decision to enforce the MCO on 18 March as effectively to curb the spread of COVID-19. Lead by example. Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin shows a good example by going through home quarantine for 14 days when one of his officers are tested positive for COVID-19. 5 bad leadership qualities of Donald Trump. President Donald Trump is viewed incompetent. He's not an expert when it's come to managing crisis. He's a business-minded person whereby he's giving importance to the economics than the humans or people. Famous sentences used by Trump in this pandemic is we have to open this country up, while other health experts said no. Trump displayed a lower integrity and honesty. The president famously said, "I take responsibility for nothing." As a leader, he must have a strong moral principle. He must be responsible for each and every action taken by himself. President Donald Trump have a low emotional intelligence. Trump was not work with the governors who are on the front line because they are from a Democratic parties, not is Republican parties. Not act decisively, nor a rational risk taker. Trump chose to abandon the pandemic theme for observing national and global disease and viruses. Indescribably ignorant. From the start of the pandemic, he has treated it as a public relations problem. He has denied it was happening and promised it will vanish by magic. He even suggested testing be reduced so the outbreak will be less visible. Let's move on to the final part, group observation and team dynamic. Common leadership styles observed. Our group are using democratic leadership style and approaches where there are open discussion made by team members during our online Zoom meetings. Every members are given fair chance to select the leader in this video through voting processes in the meeting. We also voted for choosing the crisis faced by the leader for the purpose of making this video. We choose the leader and crisis based on our group members voting in our Zoom meeting. Our decision is based on majority vote received. Before we come to the conclusion of choosing Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin and President Donald Trump, there are several other suggestions, especially choosing Jacinda Ardern, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, and how she faced the crisis on Christchurch mass shooting. However, this idea was rejected as there will be no comparison apple to apple in case of facing the crisis and how the leader react to the crisis. How was the team dynamic and what were the common problems encountered and how the team overcome them? Each of the team members has acted professionally when we had our meeting. We are open to any ideas and make decisions based on the majority votes garnered during the Zoom meeting. Common problems encountered is when there are too many ideas as everyone provides their input and reason why they choose the leader and crisis. The team overcome the too many ideas by setting the right criteria of leaders and crisis selection so that the decision can be made on the shortlisted leader. That's all from us. Thank you very much.